Hey, ladies and gents. Good afternoon to y'all. Very good afternoon. Hopefully y'all are having a good Friday. We made it to the weekend. We may title this this is gonna be short. I'm not gonna go crazy with this. Just some things on the mind, guys. Just guys and gals. Just some things on the mind. And one of these kind of is a little bit of a throwback here. I don't know if I've ever mentioned it yet on this podcast, but we're gonna come out with it. And it is again another one of these misnomers, man. And it is this may shock some of y'all. It's a story that we have grown up with for some time. Guys, life is full of these misnomers. If I could be very blunt with y'all. Normally when you hear me on this podcast say a lot of the stuff that you've learned is, wrong. I've used the term, because there is some truth to it, incomplete thought. It's a very true thing. For one thing or another. Again, like we mentioned in biblical verses and all that kind of thing, this idea, again, it bears mark in life, not just in the Bible. This idea where you can be duped, where you can be taken for, right? Gosh, I think there's a word when they do a crime, when the thieves are pocketing the joint and they're looking for somebody. I forgot what the name of the term is, but regardless, excuse me, still getting a little bit better. Getting a little bit more bass back in the voice, so that's nice. Guys, the idea of the story Uncle Tom's Cabin. You're an Uncle Tom. To that response, I say thank you very much. And we're going to get deeper into a conversation here as far as it don't matter the time of year. See, we said this a couple episodes ago. It doesn't matter the time of year. You cannot regulate human history to 1 month. It doesn't matter whose human history. You can't regulate it to 1 month, especially when you start talking about those who are who have been in the planet and have been, dare I say, damn near on almost every continent. To be blunt, because that is the case when you're talking about those who are black. Again, we like to reiterate certain things here, ladies and gentlemen. So, yes, when you listen to this podcast, you're going to hear a lot of things of what people call pro-black. Again, I don't look at it as pro-black. I look at it as talking to one group of people. Okay? Now, we just so happen to have the distinction. Unfortunately, my people have been given this distinction of black because they didn't know whether or not to call us Moors. They didn't know whether or not to call us Americos, certain little names that we're just going to drop on you. We will expound on them later down the road. It's wild, a lot of the stuff, guys, that I've seen over time here, man. It's sad how a person's whole culture can be stripped from them, man. See, guys, when I tell you, and see, this is the danger now to everybody else, because, it's nice it happened to y'all. It ain't happening to me. Again, letting you know that if you can do this thing to one group of people, if you can do this thing to one group of people, you can do it to them all, y'all. And they use lies and deceit. Well, let's say deceit. That's a better one. Deception, deceit. Smoke and mirrors. Little things of division. This is why when it comes to different beliefs, guys, you're not going to, this is one Christian here you ain't find. I'm not doing that kind of stuff, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that's what resonates in this podcast and makes it real. Because again, a lot of this life is full of fluff. Too much mess. There's other ways of saying it. Okay? We're trying to keep the language from not being too colorful. Okay? But at the end of the day here, when you talk about this Uncle Tom thing, they always look at Uncle Tom as the problem. They forget about the plantation owner And most importantly, and this again, this is one of these just, hey, is here. Y'all take it or leave it for what you want. Especially to those that are yes men. Got to keep coming out with a thing because we're talking about the deception of a thing. Judas, on many levels, was a yes man. You sold out. Man. You sold out that, which now again, people are like, oh, okay, Jesus was meant to die for everybody, so that just had to happen. Listen, do you think as Judas stands before God to give an account, that's an excuse God is giving Judas? Do you think that was an excuse God gave Judas? Hey, no, we understand. You was part of the game and all that kind of thing. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I believe that God is trying to save all people? Yeah, I do. Let's just putting that thought out there. However, back to this Uncle Tom thing, okay? Sambo is one of the more dangerous characters in that whole movie. They need to make a movie on it, to be honest with you. They put every other novel into a movie. They need to make a modernized movie of Uncle Tom so people can get it. Kind of like what you watch when you watch Civil War. People, you can get it because you see what's happening. You're seeing people get shot right in front of you. You're seeing what it's like when bodies are getting dumped all over the place. Again, guys, let's stop doing this squeamish thing. Or now, again, unless you have serious problems and triggers, okay? We're not disparaging. See, again, there's too many defenses in the mind here, okay? If it's something not for you, don't do it, okay? That's a real thing. More people who would start doing that, life would get better. Like treating people correctly. That's not fair. It's time we start treating each other better. So anybody sitting there trying to, make fun of and all that kind of thing, yeah, that's not for me. I'm good. We need more people like that to stand up like that, man. All across the board, all cultures. It's time to stop this stupid high schoolish garbage, because that's all it is. That's all it is. A lot of people in the mind have stayed stuck right on that second grade now, and been a little bit more advanced in second grade. We'll say 10th to 12th grade, somewhere in there. You're not old enough yet, but you're also not super young. You're just right in that certain level. See, and it's not making fun of young folks, because the people that I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, are older than me. Older than their 40s, stuck in some garbage that their grandfather or again, and depending on who goes down the line in their family, their great-grandfather, great, etc., told them, thought that made sense for how you make fun of people. Lord, how mistaken. Okay? Again, there's knowledge to pull from the ancestors and all that kind of thing. I ain't going to go too long with this, but again, what are we doing? What are we doing? It's time to relook and rethink some of this stuff through. You have been given a mind. Think on this verse here. It's a real powerful one. I haven't had a chance to talk about it yet, but we'll just drop it now, and we'll refer back to it in later episodes. You have not been given again in the Bible, later on in the New Testament talks about, you've not been given the spirit of fear, but power, love, and a sound mind. I want to key in on the sound mind part here for a second. Just walk with me. Okay? With your sound mind, if you start breaking down that term, that's dealing with you being able to sound and right reasoning is another way that things are said. It's where the thing makes sense, y'all. And let's be very clear. I've already said this before on this podcast. I'm going to say it again. When it comes to the words of God, they make sense. Let's be clear and say this again. When it comes to the words of God, and we'll just drop this here for my Christian brothers and sisters and those who go real wild with this. We're just going to go a little further because I know the Bible's been messed with. Again, the slave Bible is there as a result of it. As many of all of these translations that people keep messing with. Again, the words coming from the Creator are very, very, very inspired. You know it's not? Then the people who thought they was translating it. That part's coming from humans, and that part is never inspired. And I don't care which holy church father you talking about. Come on, y'all. We got to be careful here at again, do not think of yourself more highly than you ought to think. If you got the apostle, aka St. Paul, whatever title you want to put on this holy man sitting there telling you to go study something, don't listen to what I'm saying, then maybe we need to take a page from that before we start going to all the other church fathers we can find across church time history, right? Being like, yeah, no, they ain't right, because, he said this, and they said that, and they said, If the words of God are inspired and you got inspired people saying a thing and you've been told to go study something, you better you get your glasses, your best magnifying glass, and all the books and stuff you need and start studying the thing. What you will find is shocking. And when you restudy the book, Uncle Tom's Cabin, you realize you got somebody that looked just like Uncle Tom, act just like Uncle Tom from the standpoint of, mannerisms, all that kind of thing, but yet is not Uncle Tom. That is a messenger and an agent for evil, duped and deceived by the plantation owner, by massa, thinking that you're going to get something when you get nothing. Because one, you're selling out your own brothers and sisters. And just as horrible as the reward or consequence that waits for the plantation owner, which again, for some odd reason, people assume because the South is over and it's illegal to own slaves and all this kind of stuff, that folks are not kept in the same slavery game. But I digress. Sometimes it takes people to come to you got to be like, again, we referenced this St. Paul here. You got to be like when you read the story of St. Paul, going killing people of his own people, going killing them, thinking he was right, got knocked off his horse by God and said, hey, what are you doing? Why are you persecuting me? We got to get back to the heart of a thing, though. Lord, there's innocent people out here caught in this garbage game. Everybody gets on a certain thing here, and we'll end here. And then, we'll go on and we will talk again. Everybody assumes here that, because we're here on these lands, these beautiful lands here in North America, that we're exempt. You go back in your family, you're exempt from all of the sins that not only your government, but other friends or family and family members, and you trace it back, that have had their hands in this mess. Bringing over people from other lands to cover their sins and give them land to stuff that was... I'm sorry, y'all, for how this comes across, and you take it how you want to, but there is a serious truth here, which is why you always look to be good, because this mess is garbage. You got to always look to be good. Where can you give? There's another verse in the Bible that talks about where King David at the time, for however people look at King David, we're just taking this instance. Someone in a certain family line that was connected with King David, some tragedy had befallen them, and King David was going to look to make restitution to that family. And the way it says it in the Bible? So impactful. Who in the line or the house of whoever said family? I say whoever said family because it doesn't matter. You take that story till today. Who can I find? The end of the verse says that I might show my goodness or be good unto, depending on different translations you look at. When do we get to that point, ladies and gentlemen? Finding people to be good to. We're still making fun of homeless people. Y'all need work. You need to do this and that. And when do we break down these walls of coldness that have been built up by people wanting to use us to continue such said destruction on this planet? And we can get there, y'all. Believe it, believe it, believe it. For as long as there's breath in the body, we can get there. So that is what I got for y'all today. Some Friday thoughts. Some Friday feelings here, just on life. Reconsider a thing, guys. What you think is true is not. And what you think is not is true. All right. So we will talk soon. We will talk soon. And as always, ladies and gentlemen, look to find the beauty in a different view.